Franchises are often presented as a safer way to become a business owner, not as risky as launching a startup and not as isolating as going it all alone. Just follow the proven system and things should run smoothly. That appealing pitch helps sell a lot of franchises, but it also leaves out some hard truths. Franchising, it's not a shortcut to business ownership. It's more of a trade-off. You're giving up flexibility, potential upside, and control in exchange for structure and what's perceived as safety. Whether or not that trade is worth it depends on how honest you are with yourself before signing on the dotted line. The reason franchises are presented as the safe way to start a business is A, a proven system, B, a well-known brand, and C, lower perceived risk. Now, these claims aren't entirely false, but they don't tell you the full story. The goal of this video is to offer you a more realistic, even skeptical view so you can distinguish between good marketing and a smart investment. Because franchising is not a shortcut, it is a trade. Section 1. The myth of the proven system. So let's begin with a term every single franchisor loves to use: proven system. And here's the catch. Just because a system is proven doesn't mean it will be profitable for you. Proven simply means it's worked somewhere before under specific conditions. That doesn't guarantee it will work in your area with your rent amount, with your labor costs, your royalties, your marketing fees, and debt payments, or your specific skills and business ability, which may be entirely different from others in that proven system. You see, proven system is an amorphous term, and you need to ignore it until you understand what that means exactly and see if your proven skills, demographics, and other variables are proven within this model. A proven business model can also be well designed operationally and yet still be a weak financial deal. Operations and finance, two totally separate things. If the gross numbers only look good before all expenses, then the numbers are not actually good. Section 2. Franchises shift risk. They don't eliminate it. Franchises are often considered less risky than starting a business from scratch, but as noted, not entirely true. The risk does not vanish, it just changes its form. So instead of wondering whether your startup idea is going to succeed, you're now going to be betting on A, whether the franchisor actually makes wise long-term decisions. B, whether the brand stays relevant during the time of your stay in the franchise. C, whether your territory becomes too saturated. This has become very, very poignant with many franchises that have become quite large. D, whether fees increase faster than your revenue. You see, you're tying your financial future to these choices that you don't control. And that might be okay for some people, but it's not the 100% safe bet that some franchises claim. Many people have become highly successful through franchising. There's no question of that. But you need to understand your risks. If a franchisor tells you, oh, this is a risk-free investment, you need to run for the door. Section 3, the tough truth. So here's a reality check. Many franchises are not these business opportunities that people actually imagine. They're actually high-cost jobs. In the majority of cases, and you need to ask these questions, but you're going to be working long hours, under pressure, average profit margins. They might look good on paper, but they feel razor thin in real life. And in a lot of cases, if you stop working or stop being as effective when you're working, the income stops or reduces as well. Now, that doesn't mean you failed. It just means that you've bought yourself a job, not a hands-off investment asset that grows on its own. You need to ask yourself these questions. Are you okay owning a job if the income is steady, but perhaps limited or capped? How much time do you want to put into the business? Year 1 through year 5. What does that look like? Some franchise models, they're just better for hands-off operation, while others not so much. Section 4, promises versus incentives. Let's talk about something that really doesn't get enough attention, how franchisors actually make money. Franchisors earn money from initial franchise fees, ongoing royalties, marketing contributions, selling additional locations. So yes, your success in most cases does matter to them, but money franchisors still get paid in this model whether your business is thriving or whether it is struggling. Now that doesn't necessarily make them dishonest, it just means that their incentives aren't always aligned with yours, and you need to be aware of that. So don't rely on hope, verify everything, and if you need help in your research, an experienced broker group like Franchise Inspectors can help. Section 5, when standardization hurts. So franchises grow by sticking to a consistent model. Everybody knows that. Same menu, same prices, same vendors, same providers, same marketing. And that's all great until your local market doesn't respond the way that the model expect. If your rent goes up, your labor gets scarce, customer habits shift, adaptability actually becomes critical, and many franchise contracts offer very little room, if any, to adjust. In a rapidly changing environment, rigidity can actually become a hidden liability. So you need to ask the franchise, what happens if my market changes, if my needs change? Will you help me with this adapting? Have you helped other franchisees in the past in these scenarios? Section 6, the right questions to ask. So if you are thinking about buying a franchise, don't settle for these surface level questions and answers. You need to ask the hard questions. Many people don't even think of this, but it's absolutely critical. Start off with, what percentage of franchisees make solid profit after all fees and debts are paid? We're not talking revenue or gross sales. Those are the numbers that pretty well every franchise is going to provide you with. You need to ask about real in-the-pocket income. Now, franchisors, they're likely to say they can't discuss financials beyond what is in their disclosure document. Now, that's quite true. They're actually bound by the FTC, but you can still get insight by speaking with current franchisees who are not bound by those same restrictions. Next up, how many franchisees have shut down or sold at a loss? And why is that? Because exits absolutely matter, as do transfers. Also ask, what happens if the brand stops growing or it loses its appeal? And pay attention to how defensive that response might be. And also ask, how much room do I have to adapt if things go wrong? Because they absolutely will go wrong. And lastly, the most revealing question of all, when you talk to current franchisees, ask them, would you buy this franchise again today at the current price? If not, why not? And listen very carefully to the pause before their answer. And also remember that many of these franchisees might be bound contractually from not giving any sort of disparaging remarks. So you need to keep that in mind. Section 7, who franchising really works for. Despite all of this, franchising can absolutely work for the right person. Now, it tends to succeed for people who want structure. They have realistic income expectations. They can afford to initially absorb potential losses, and they don't mind following rules. So you need to see it as an active job, not as a passive investment, and your desire to work in the business needs to reflect what the franchise is looking for you. Franchising tends to fail for people who want full creative control, expect to earn passive income and not put any time and effort or skill into the business, are financially stretched already, and they think the brand will carry them. That's not always the case. Also, people who resist being told how to run things. This is going to be a difficult environment for those type of people. So in closing, need to be a harder sell. And here's my final piece of advice. Franchises don't fail because people didn't try hard enough. Believe me, you drop $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 into a business, you are trying as hard as you can, yet we see thousands upon thousands of franchise failures. Franchises fail because the people believed the marketing instead of doing the math and actually looking under the hood instead of looking at just a shiny vehicle. A worthwhile franchise, it's still going to look good after conservative projections, worst case scenarios, and candid conversations with struggling franchisees. So don't be afraid to ask those questions. If the deal only makes sense when everything goes perfectly, it's not a good deal. It's just hope. And hope is not a business plan. Now, if you're thinking about buying a franchise, slow down, ask tougher questions, be ready to walk away, because the right opportunity is still going to make sense after the initial excitement fades. And as always, if you need help in your research, an experienced franchise broker group like Franchise Inspectors can help you better understand your options. You can click above or visit us at franinspect.com. Thank you for watching.